My motorcycle is dirty. Therefore, I'm going to rectify that situation today by giving it a clean. You're probably thinking, oh no, not another how to clean my bike guide. No, this is not that video, because one, I clean bikes really lazily. Two, I've also got an apparel water at my garage. So this isn't some comprehensive detailing guide. This is just a case of what I do to try and look after this with the facilities I have in mind. So hopefully there might be some of you out there that might learn a thing or two from this and the order I go about cleaning it, and I'll run you through some of the products I use. So let's get on with it. The first things first in the bike cleaning agenda is getting the rear wheel off the ground. This is very, very useful for a couple of reasons. One, clean and lube your chain, if that wasn't already apparent. I appreciate some of you probably don't have a paddock stand or don't potentially have access or somewhere to keep one. You might have to borrow a mate or a neighbour, whoever it might be, even a passer-by if need be, so you can raise that rear wheel off the deck so you can clean it easier, or you can just keep going back and forth, walking it up and down, doing a bit at a time. That gets boring very quickly. So for those of you that can have one, get yourself a paddock stand. This one's a single-sided swing-on one. It's a 0G one from Oxford. I've been using this for some time now, as you can probably tell by the state of it. However, it's still very useful. So yeah, get your bike off the ground if you can. And first of all, we're going to attack the chain because it's gross. Right, so the next thing we're going to do is attack the chain, which I use this bike every day, so it accumulates quite a bit of guff along my daily commute and all my usual ride outs and stuff like that. But no matter, we can deal with this without much problem. Again, this is going to be a really lazy way of doing it. The way I do it is I actually use GT85 90% of the time, especially for when it's warm like it is at the moment. It's a really good cleaner and it's really good at displacing water. So we'll do all this sort of like mucky work now before we go and clean the full bike, just to make life a bit easier and we don't spread all this crap around the bike, because you don't want to do that because you scratch it. Right, let's get that chain clean. What I'm going to do, the way I sort of tackle it, is you get yourself some knackered old cloth, get your GT85, and simply what I do is I just go and spray the GT85 all over the chain. Doesn't matter if it gets on your wheel, that'll come in handy later. But just get it all over there, especially if it's really bad, you'll want to use a chain cleaner, a dedicated one, but this stuff I find works most of the time. We'll get it done like that. If you have a chain brush, do it. I don't, which is where cloth comes in handy. So now what I'll do is, once I've fully doused the chain in the lovely GT85, other lubricants are available, just literally just grab hold of it like that. I'll just run it through my fingers. Again, because the weather's been nice and dry at the moment, most of the grime and stuff comes up pretty easily. Literally just run it through like that, nice and simple. As you can probably tell, it's gotten really quite a bit of the guff off the chain, and then I'll just sort of wipe all the surfaces down like that. I'm not going to make you watch all of that because that's boring, but you get the gist. Get your chain to a nice clean level like that, and then we'll talk about the next steps in a second. Right, now we're going to move on to the wheels. Again, GT85 is our best friend, and this is probably a little bit of a not very well known tip, and everyone I've recommended this to throughout the years seems to really like this method. But basically what I do is I just use the GT85 all over the wheels. If you have a dedicated wheel cleaner, absolutely use it. But again, I don't, because I'm ill prepared and stupid. But we'll use the GT85 because genuinely it's really good at getting stuff off. So what I normally do is, again, I'll just spray the wheel with a bit of GT85. You can see I've not cleaned this some time and it's rained relatively recently. So I'll do that. And again, just get yourself a cloth, wipe it down. Really simple, really easy. You want to do this sort of with a bit of a crap cloth to begin with, and then go at it with a nice cleaner cloth down the line. Once you're sort of done getting the most of the crap off, I mean, straight away, even there, you can probably see the difference. Do it with the other wheel as well. Don't be lazy. See you guys in a sec. So that's a bit that's not been cleaned. You can tell how manky it is. Come around to this side. Again, this is just what a bit of GT85 and a cloth can do. Who'd have thought, eh? Once you've done your chain and your wheels, now it's on to cleaning the majority of the motorcycle. Again, if you don't have power and water, I picked up one of these things and it's an absolute winner if you don't have access to those facilities. From the middle of the little itself, a garden sprayer. And you're thinking, why on earth have you bought one of those? And it genuinely is really handy. This carries 5 litres of water. You can overfill it a little bit. And again, you just manually pressurize it with the handle and it gives you more than enough sort of spraying power to help clean a bike. So that's basically my water source for this. It's really handy. And then what I use to actually get rid of said dirt is this, which you probably have seen many times. This is Muck-Off's bog standard motorcycle cleaner. It's been in the industry for thousands of years and always works a treat. There are more expensive options you can spend your money on, but don't worry about it. This stuff works absolutely great. Let's get the bike wetted down, as they say, and then we'll whack some of this on. So now I'm just gonna pressurize the bottle. Oh, 5 litres of water is quite a bit of weight. So literally just fucking pump the thing up to your heart's content. This one has a pressure gauge on it. You can do this with one of those little bottles that you can get hold of, like hydro bottles or whatever they're called. They're sick. This is just a big version essentially. So once you're pressurized, happy days, and then literally just use the trigger thing on it. Bosh. Wet the bike down. Make sure your bike's cool. Mine is not, because I rode it home about an hour ago. Again, I did tell you, you don't necessarily need to do what I do, but yeah, just go around and wet the bike. Now the bike is sufficiently wet, we'll go at it with the Muck-Off cleaner. This is pretty self-explanatory. It's a bottle with a trigger. Just send it. Once you've applied your cleaner of choice, I'll let it sit for about sort of 30 seconds to a minute. Just let it really work in there and get what it needs to get off. If you've got some really stubborn areas, get yourself something like an actual cleaning sponge or a wash mitt if you do. Mine's not particularly bad, so I'm not going to do that. I'm going to, again, be really lazy, go kind of contactless, but I am going to get in there with one of my favourite things, which I'll show you in just a second. Let me get it. If you haven't got these, I recommend you pick these up. They're not expensive at all, but this is from Oxford, actually. Again, another Oxford product. I'm not sponsored, I promise. This is their detailing brush set. You can get all sorts of these all over the place, but literally you can use one of these to get in the nooks and crannies. They're really, really handy. So, you know, get into your suspension, all the rest of it, and any particular body lines that might be a bit tricky to get at, these are really, really handy for that. Bosh. So once you've done your contact cleaning with your whatever cleaner of choice you decide to use, and once you've hosed it all down, it is now time to dry the motorcycle, which is a key stage. I really recommend you get yourself a proper drying towel, one that's clean. This one is not. It will do the trick, however. But yeah, proper quality drying cloth is really handy because you just soak up loads of water and it just makes your life a lot easier than using your normal microfibers you'll get for 5 of the 3-pack or whatever, nice and cheap from Halfords. But yeah, something like that is really, really handy. It just makes life so much easier. It makes the whole process much, much faster. So I'm gonna give it a quick dry off now, and then we'll go back to sort of the chain and some other bits and bobs in a second. So now your bike's clean and dry and looking rather nice, we're on to one of the most important steps for chain longevity, which is lubing your chain. So I use Muck-Off's wet chain lube, been using this stuff since the bloody dark ages, because I just seem to get really good results out of it. I've used so many different ones, but your mileage may vary. Use whatever you like, it doesn't really matter. But the way I lube my chain is essentially just, the main job of a chain lube is just to stop corrosion and just keep it protected, especially during those winter months. But I always use a heavy duty chain lube because I use this thing every single day. So, you know, she only deserves the best, which is not what I give it. So yeah, just go and lube your chain now. I basically just run it across the back of the links and down the middle as well on the inside, just to try and get every single part of it. So here goes nothing. And it's easy as that. Lubricating chain takes no time at all and really improves the longevity of it. So we're nearly about there, but there's one more step that I'd like to talk about, and it's actually protecting your paintwork for a little bit longer term. So we'll do that. So on to the last and final step of my bike cleaning agenda for today. It's just protecting the paintwork and the overall longevity of the clean you've given it. And I use Muck-Off's Silicone Shine. I've again been using this stuff since the dark ages. And it's really good for just giving it that last final spritz and sort of keeping that paintwork and how clean the bike is long term easier. Another thing as well, it just makes your cleaning less frequent, because this is helping to protect your paintwork. You don't have to do it as often, and it also makes when you next clean it much easier. So again, just go around and apply it. Try not to put any of this stuff on your brakes or anything like that, or otherwise you're going to end up careening through a set of red lights and explain to a police officer how daft you are. So yeah, just go around it with the microfiber cloth, just spray it all over, wipe it down, avoid your brakes and your tyres, and you're about set. So that's it. That is everything I do to sort of keep this thing topped up looking fresh throughout the year. During the winter months, of course, when it gets really, really tough on the bike, I'll give it a much more thorough clean. I'll actually take up, there's a garage just up the road for me that I'll take up and use their pressure washer or borrow a mate's or whatever. But again, this is just to keep it ticking over during these warmer months when the roads aren't so bad. So hopefully you found it useful. Hopefully you picked up some tips and tricks from me. Again, this is not a guide. Don't think this is all comprehensive knowledge, because it certainly isn't. So please like, comment and subscribe. It really goes a long way in getting these videos out there to you lovely folks who clearly enjoy watching it. And our figures have been doing pretty well so far. So stay tuned for the next one, and I'll see you soon.